Hello everybody and welcome. Today I'm gonna guide you through macOS 10.2 Jaguar. This is the release that came with my new dual processor 867 Power Mac G4, and since it's an OS that you don't see much around, I decided to document it before I clear the hard drive and get the machine ready for production work. So let's see what is it about. I'm sorry for the background noise, by the way. This machine is very loud and there is nothing I can do about it. So in Jaguar, the system profile looks like the macOS 9 one with the drop-down menus. So here we have the latest release of 10.2, the name of the original owner of the machine. Here, 2 processors, 132 MHz system bus, and enough cache to make this computer scream. Then the original, probably original 256 megabytes of RAM with an extra stick for a total of 768. And here a GeForce 4 MX, the cheapest card you could get with this machine. In one of the USB ports we have the white Apple keyboard and connected with a HP mouse. No FireWire devices connected. Here I have the standard CD-ROM drive. Combo drive is not a super drive. The original IBM hard drive, 62 gigs, 57 gigs if you consider power of 2 here. And I have macOS 9.2.2 and 10.2 installed here. Frameworks are just the libraries that are installed, much less than the current edition of macOS, that's for sure. Bunch of extensions, you can see a lot of drivers for SCSI cards. It was a very popular update for this machine at the time. Airport cards, Ethernet, Apple CUDA, that's not CUDA from NVIDIA, that's for sure. Hardware sensor clock, GeForce drivers, yeah, basic stuff. List of installed applications, most of the applications that come with the OS, plus a few things that were installed by the previous user. And there was no separate console application, so to see the logs you had to go to the system profile and open the logs. Or, of course, you could go straight to the log and open it in text edit. After booting up the computer, you are greeted by a classic macOS screen with a few differences. There was yet no spotlight here, so there's no way to quickly look for files. Maybe Finder has a search box. Yeah, there's a search box that you can use, yeah, criterias, but not as vast as the newest macOS. So for example, you cannot use it to look for picture size or image type or contents. Well, there is here, but it's not indexed, so probably the search takes a long time. Should do the job, I believe so. Yeah, well, simple search box. Down here you have the dock. The dock hasn't changed much. The Finder icon is much more creepy than it is nowadays. The newest one is far more sympathetic. Mail probably looks like mail. Yeah, I think a new user would have no problems to get around with this message. The get mail icon is the same, just in the opposite direction. Yeah, here is also, this menu is usually on the left hand side. And one thing that I'm missing in the new macOS, this that you can use to, you know, if you don't need the toolbars, you can have more space for data. Standard icons. The animation seems a bit slower. I'm not sure it's a flag in the system or maybe the computer is just too slow. Even when you double click a folder, you can see that the reaction, the animation is slower than it is nowadays. And every single inactive window seems to make the previous ones, the ones behind, a bit transparent. It's a bit confusing. Oh, that's not good. It's a bit confusing, I guess, and if you have plenty of stuff open, I guess you can have problems. The system is quite speedy for the slow hard drive and for the amount of RAM. macOS at this time had many less resources than it does nowadays. iChat is over. There's no use for it anymore. You cannot use a mobile.me account, but you can use AIM account. That would not work either because the servers nowadays are offline. Let's see the address book. The address book doesn't look much different than it is nowadays as well. You can have you can look into the directory. You can have your local contacts. I suppose you can even add an LDAP address book. Standard macOS behavior, close the application and the main window is closed. If you really want to quit it, you have to exit from the menu. Browser. Up to 10.2 Jaguar, the default browser was Internet Explorer. I think Microsoft had the idea to keep making Office for Mac, and Apple would make the default browser IE. I don't remember the details, but it was not too bad at the time because most pages were actually designed for Internet Explorer using Microsoft custom features. One thing I really liked at the time, and I remember using this browser as my main browser for a while, is the scrapbook feature here and the history all on the side. Let's see what this guy was doing in 2002. Yeah. There's some history in here. The person didn't really clean everything up. So this is probably the history when this person just got the machine. If you try to open anything, I guess nothing will come up. Yeah, there is no way to negotiate a secure connection here. Google works, but it's so bad that I even didn't manage to download Safari for this. Safari 1.0 still runs on Jaguar. I don't think YouTube will ever work. But yeah, of course not. If I try to generic Google search, it does work, and yeah, cannot open most windows here. Too bad. iTunes, old icon. Let's see. When you open, it used to be much more space efficient, and it offers me to download 12.7. That's for sure not gonna work. This one is iTunes 4, and I think if we go to the terminal, or maybe to the system monitor, that's called Process Viewer, iTunes probably is much less memory than nowadays, 2.9%. Let's see if I can get concrete numbers here. Yeah, 22 megs. That was really a long time ago. iTunes was much less of a bloat than it is nowadays. iPhoto. Doesn't matter, I'm not going to keep this OS here. Oh, this is old. Again, a much more pleasant interface. Takes less screen real estate. You can export stuff to iDVD. The iLife thing was very strong at this time. Your computer was a digital hub, so you could quickly get everything done. The things that you do nowadays in cloud, we could create your page, make your wallpaper, all the prints, send via email, all quickly from here. And I suppose some basic adjustments could be done if I had a picture here, but I'm not gonna import anything now. If you go to preferences, very simple. Not much to do here. iMovie, still not iMovie HD. So the main use case here was FireWire cameras, and you would import videos directly here via a DV stream, and just have basic timeline down here, add transitions, and then export as a QuickTime movie. Not sure even what the codec it used to be. Well, if it doesn't crash, of course. I think it's going to crash. Let me keep process view around, just so I have an idea what's going on. Go to applications, go to utilities. Oh, CPU monitor. Not bad. Can keep that there. Beautiful. Okay, let's create a project. Test movie. And I guess you can add title. It's pretty fast. It processes the titles as you go, so not really advanced in terms of multi-threading. I can see. Can add a transition. Oh. Effects. So I suppose I can add the effect to the... Ah, that doesn't really matter. Let's quit this. I don't want to save my project. iDVD. It's probably complained that I don't have a super drive. Yeah, the required hardware could not be found. Can I still do work on it? Nope, just quits. Sherlock. Sherlock used to be a very cool way to look for things. It doesn't work anymore. You could look into eBay, do internet searches, translations, all from these two. So it was basically an aggregator of internet services that you didn't have to go online for. And I remember using it quite a lot at the time. It's for sure not going to work. Yeah, even the preferences have to be populated online, so total failure. QuickTime player. Looks like QuickTime 7, I guess, although it must be 4 or 5. Well, 6. And it probably does the same thing. May not support many codecs. No options at all. Very simple. At the time, Apple was still on the very simple, very user-friendly side. I'm going to go to system preferences later in detail. So that is the dock. So let's look now into Finder. The Apple menu is here with functionality very different from macOS Classic. The Aqua theme, this Aqua visual language with bubbly icons and the stripes and etc. was still very strong here. About this Mac we saw already. Get macOS software would probably take you to the Apple page. Oh, Safari is installed. I see. Still cannot negotiate a secure connection, so I guess it won't even open apple.com. Can try again. Yeah, it will not. The options for dock are really the same. If you go to the newest macOS release, you're probably going to have the same options here. Location, I'm not sure this is still around, but if you have a laptop, you could have different configurations for your home network or your office network and reassign DHCP, DNS, etc. Other configurations of the settings of VPN. Recent items is the same thing. Hasn't changed. It shows the latest applications that you've run and the latest documents you have opened. Force quit also looks exactly the same. It opens you the foreground applications that are opened for your user only and give you the option to force quit. Also describes that you can get here by using the keyboard shortcut command option escape. Nothing new here. You can make it bigger, smaller. Really nice. I like the Apple content-based screen resize. Next, sleep, restart, shutdown, logout, all the same. About Finder, it doesn't say the Macintosh desktop experience, but pretty much looks the same. The preferences also have not changed much. And if we go to show view options, we also have the same functionality as before. Make text smaller, larger. I miss the way an option to have no anti-aliased text for icons so you can place more items on your desktop. Computers are getting worse in terms of, how to say, information density nowadays. Everything takes a lot of space, is super big, touch optimized, and I really don't want touch on my desktop. I find the window looks different. You still have the options, navigation options here, but maybe you could customize that. Yes, you can customize the toolbar, add your favorite folders, add options. Now I don't even recall whether you can do that or not, but let's see. You could add, for example, an eject button here. And then if I click it, my CD will open. Or not, there is no disk inside. The standard view here is the classic next step way of having the folders vertically. The deeper you go, the more columns you get to your right side. But the interaction is pretty much what you would get on macOS nowadays. If you go back and forward, it even changes the way you see things, not only where you are, which is interesting. You can see a list with details, and you can see the big icons. Classic macOS icons are really badly resized. But it does work. Let's now go through the standard applications. I'm not sure this is included or not, but Acrobat Reader 5 is a classic. It's the nice version, probably the last, maybe the sixth one, that still looks decent and doesn't eat all the computer resources just for rendering your PDFs. Also, the browser has a decent size compared to the newest version that take half of your screen for massive buttons, and it opens quickly, doesn't use much memory. Yeah, so it does the job. And probably still can open newer files if they don't use many of the special features that or bloat that Adobe keeps putting into Acrobat these days. Address book I've seen already. The calculator has not changed much. Paper tape. Ooh. Also, I guess the newest macOS has a few changes, but during most of the macOS 10 era, it looked really the same. you can get only the result. This is amazing. I really love the resizing based on content. So let's do some calculation, and then you do this, move the window to the side, or not. I cannot move the small window. That's probably a bug. You move the window to the side and you keep working on documents, and if you want to keep calculating, you make the window bigger again. It's very, very nice. iCall. It's probably the first release of iCall. It also has not changed much. It does the job, and I really like this application. Simple, efficient, doesn't take much screen space, and shows the information that you need. Chess has not changed much as well. This is also a legacy from the next times. Maybe there are new textures nowadays or something like that, I'm not sure. But no, it's a GNU chess, okay. But options are the same. Menus are the same. The chessboard has changed a bit. I think nowadays you can choose texture or something like that, but it's basically a chess game. Does the job, plays chess. Not multi-threaded, I can see. One CPU goes down at a time when the computer is calculating, which is good for you. Maybe if you make it harder, it will use 2 cores. No, it will not. It's totally single-threaded. Clock opens a dock clock. There is no window. Now you can release it and put it around. Transparency controls are here. Yeah. Useless has not survived Steve Jobs, probably. DVD player. That will play DVDs. I'll grab a DVD later on and come back to this. Or maybe not, to not violate any copyright. We've been through iChat. Image capture probably has not changed. Let's see. Does the same thing. So if your camera doesn't behave as a mass storage device, then image capture does the job, and you can throw the images wherever you want to then import into your favorite application. Also supports scanners, so you can use the standard twine, or that is for scanners. And yeah, does the job. Again, I like this kind of application. Simple, with one functionality, does it well. It's very Unixy, so to say. We've seen iMovie, Internet Connect. That's the old wizard that you could use to configure. Oh no, it's just a dialer for the modem. Yeah, so you could put your provider name, username and password, and connect. And you see I'm leaving the programs open in purpose to see how the system behaves and also to show the transparencies. Internet Explorer we've seen, iPhoto we've seen, Art Directors 2, Kit 3. That is... I used to really like this program, and maybe I should copy to the new computer. So it does a lot of conversion of color and numbers, and it's very useful when you are working with documents or converting images, for example. It's just another application, same style, does one thing, does it very well, and gives you no headache at all. I should copy it to my G5. Next we have mail, may have seen. Preview. Preview comes from the next times as well, and it has not changed anything. If you open a PDF file, you get the same options as nowadays. Thumbnails on the side. Processing the thumbnail is much slower than it used to be, than it is nowadays, I mean. Well, computers are getting more powerful. You see the CPU is working a lot here. You get basic functionality of making notes, flipping image. No, you cannot make notes. Well, that's missing. Then preferences. I'm not sure the preferences have changed much, but well, bloat is coming to all programs. QuickTime of Seeing, Sherlock Seeing, stickies. That's the first time they reintroduced stickies. It was removed from macOS 10.0 and 10.1 and people complained a lot. So Apple just put it back and it's a great program. I still use it to this day, although nowadays I use it more in the dashboard. And the day Apple removes the dashboard, I'll be very sad. System preferences we're going to see later. Text edit. Has not changed that much. The functionality remains the same, with maybe now we have more options, but yeah. Make plain text, hyphenation, yeah. Does the job, same old text edit. And I've just noticed here that you have the curved corners, just like classic macOS is still here. So yeah, it was before Apple removed it. Fax STFX. So this computer has modem, and at the time faxes were still relatively popular. So you could use your computer to send and receive faxes. It would store all the received faxes. You could even have your computer waking up, receiving the fax, and then going back to sleep. I actually intend to use the modem sometime to have a way to log into my home computers in case my internet is down and I can do some remote troubleshooting. So I may look into the functionality when I get the other G4 and maybe have it really in production. Graphic converter. I think I remember this program. It allows you to, I think, convert different document types, but it is in German, so well, you can draw. No, it's like Paint, but I'm sure it has more functions, but I'm not gonna waste my time with a program in German. AppleScript. I'm sure this one has changed very little. So let's see. Yeah, looks more like macOS 9, but exactly the same functionality. Program, you write your code here, you run it here with the run button, and the output should pop down here. Options. The options seems to remain the same. You can record the script, record window options. I don't remember this on the new macOS, but well, it is there. I don't remember AppleScript having this in the new macOS, but well, I didn't used to know AppleScript at its time. And the first Mac that I had at work had actually macOS 10.3 Panther. So this is all new to me. have some scripts. This can be actually very interesting to download weather forecast maps. That's very neat. I should look into this as well before I destroy the hard drive and copy them, because some of them can be actually modified to work and be very useful. Font sampler. Let's run this. Aha, the font sampler creates a text document that goes through all your fonts. That's excellent. And I will for sure copy this one over. Wow. All right. I'll make a note to have a look into this later. Okay, enough of transparent windows. Let's close everything. System reacts quite quickly. I remember hearing that macOS 10, the early versions were super bloated, but this seems to be alright. I guess that's a new machine for the time. If you would have a beige G3, that's the earliest supported Mac, if I'm not mistaken. I think our experience will be much worse, but well, we have what we have. Extensive suitcase. I'm not sure this comes with the computer. It was probably installed by the other owner. Oh, that was stuck during logging. I'm not going to open this one. iDVD we tried. Installers. I was looking for this. I want to install the developer tools. I'll look into them later. So let's get this running here. How to install BSD. Wow, you could use for cross-developing. Good old times. Okay, let's leave it installing. Good old file maker. You could install as well. I don't want to install it in German, so goodbye. Sorry, you're not going to see file maker today. OmniGraffle. That is something like Microsoft Visio, if not mistaken. Yes, you can make diagrams for different purposes, work or fun or your hobbies. Does the job. Maybe it's not Visio, maybe that's one of the Adobe InDesign. Is InDesign for that? Even though I haven't touched Adobe programs in a long time. Maybe you can do some book diagramming here, but beyond my scope. Not gonna waste my time with this. iTunes will look into utilities. Airport admin utility. It's not really gonna work with my current airport. It actually does and finds them. Wow, but it fails to probe the IP address, and I'm sure I'm not gonna be able to do any configuration changes here. Very, very nice. Yeah, GeForce had the firmware updated, maybe to reduce the noise. Yeah, improves the fan behavior in OS 9. It's a disgrace, it's really loud and it's a lot of power. 100 watts idle. I think that if you have macOS Leopard, it will use less electricity. It's gonna throttle the CPU down, but that doesn't happen in the previous releases. And you cannot install these CHUD tools to force your computer to nap, your processors to nap. Airport setup assistant, probably same old. Oh, I don't have an airport card. Yeah, well, audio MIDI setup. That probably looks the same, and I'm going to even try to connect my FireWire sound card here and some USB MIDI keyboard, and I'm pretty confident it's going to work. Bluetooth file exchange is still there, still available, but this computer doesn't have Bluetooth, so I cannot demonstrate. Yeah, looks very similar. Look at this. Same options. Of course, it doesn't do 24 bits, doesn't have optical out like the G5, but looks the very same. Probably the code is even the same. Color sync utility. You can review color sync profiles. It probably has not changed since ever as well. Yeah, you can open a profile for your devices, look into them, and do some changes. It might be beyond my scope. I don't know much about this. Console. I was wrong. There is a console application. Is it used for log files? Icon is similar. You can only see one log file. I can open different log files here, but it doesn't give you the list of system log files. But you can open crash logs from the standard system folder. Interesting. Problem with transparency in Windows. Fantastic. Super buggy. CPU monitor is running here. Digital color meter. That is the same as the new macOS. You can see what color it is based on where you point your mouse. Nothing has changed, which is good. It works, does the job. Directory access you can use to log in to LDAP servers, set up automatic authentication, get contacts from remote servers. I've used it many years ago, but I don't remember much, and I don't have servers for that here, so I'm not gonna try. This copy, there's probably a OS X version of the disk copy utility from macOS 9. Yeah, you can create an image of a disk, and then you have the checksum to be sure your file was correctly created. You can just burn a disk, as I can see here, see the log of your activity. This functionality now is part of disk utility, so it is probably not part of macOS anymore. Disk utility is here. It's probably the old good version of disk utility, that has not been crippled down by Apple. Looks the same, probably the text is the same. Permission, repair disk, formatted disk. You can install OS 9 drivers if you have a dual boot system. That's important, otherwise macOS 9 cannot read it. You can do partitioning. And you can create soft RAIDs, which is a feature of macOS since maybe Jaguar, yes. It is still better than the disk utility that we have nowadays, though. Display calibrator allows you to do a manual calibration of your display using your eyes. And that's cute. It's a CRT Apple display. 3 stimuli values. Wow. I'm colorblind, so I cannot work on this. Grab. Grab is a tool that I bet has not changed at all. So let's have a look. Capture selection. Does the job. Capture time screen. No changes whatsoever. They probably just have recompiled it over and over and over. Although, yeah, Apple supplies offline help at this time. Although it may fail to load from the server. So, no, yeah, it loads locally. Very nice. Grab preference, let's see. This is something new. Actually, not new, but doesn't exist anymore, I think. But doesn't really matter, there's no functionality. Enable sound probably enables and disables the click sound, the shutter click sound when you capture a picture. I don't want to save this. Installer. This does what? Oh, allows you to manually install a package. Fine. Keycaps. Yeah, you can see the layout of the keyboard you are using based on the language you have. Not sure it's still there, but should do the job. Keychain access probably remains the same. The person was clever enough to clear the passwords or not, so some account passwords are still here. Oh boy, that's not how you sell a computer. But functionality is there. Probably, of course, not going to do online syncing, but it's here. That info manager was removed in Leopard. There's no Leopard, but allows you to review what? Is it when you connect to Active Directory or some server? There is no help available. I don't remember what this used to do. Yeah, you can look up LDAP and etc. Network utility that remains in macOS and has not changed at all. You can do lookups. Basically, it's a front-end interface of classic network tools that people usually use in the terminal. ODBC administrator, if you connect to databases on the OS level and then point your applications to that using the ODBC standard, and you can do it here. I have no experience with that. Even though I run a database server at home, I just connect the applications to it, so I really don't know how that works. Print center, that's someone had a Lexmark laser printer. It just shows you the status of your printers, of your print jobs. Not sure it remains in macOS or how do you monitor the printer queuing the new one, but it is there. For iPod Classics, you can update the software here. Process viewer, that is the one that is here. And it looks very different from the one that I remember, even from macOS 10.3 Panther, but you can still look up the details of the processes you have, but you cannot take samples. There is no dtrace, but does the job. It's like a cooler version of top with a GUI. Software restore. I may try this later. I think this allows you to restore your computer to factory standards. This Apple logo looks like the one on the tower. I'm not going to run that now, of course. But in any case, I have an image of this hard drive. You can restore it at any time. I did it using FireWire target mode. Bluetooth serial utility. Yeah, this probably allows you to assign serial ports to Bluetooth devices, or yes, and then manipulate them serially via terminal or using an application, probably a GPS, for example. Terminal. Welcome to Darwin. That's not there anymore. It's not Bash. As you can see, is Bash installed? Yeah, it is. This is a very old version of Bash. Again, does the job. No big deal. The syntax has changed. I don't know how to use this anymore. Doesn't matter. Ah, it's capital. Yeah. Doesn't seem very human readable. I don't know what the sizes are, but here it is. Another iPod software updated folder. Doesn't matter. Asia text extras. TrueType font editor. This can be useful. Whoa, you can create your own font. It's pretty cool. Can you? Yeah, you can. Test font. Ah, but it's only Asian foods. Not foods, fonts. Well, no use for me. Bluetooth setup assistant. I have no Bluetooth, so doesn't matter. Java, very old. The offline applet launcher is here and available. You can launch in a jar file straight from here, probably. You can change the plugin settings. I don't even know where this is in macOS nowadays. I still use Java stuff sometimes. Not that I'm happy with it or need it, but it is there. Java Web Start, that's probably the browser plugin that is called when it's required. Yeah. Apple System Profile. Let's have some fun. Ah, that's the same one from About This Mac. Okay, not fun. Stuffit Expander. So, Stuffit at this time was still the standard way of delivering Mac applications from the internet and compressing Apple data. Not Apple data, but data in Macs. And it's still here for whoever needs to use it. I have it installed on my newer Macs just because, well, I have old computers, so sometimes I need to unzip Stuffit stuff. The firmware upgrade that has been already installed, so it's not necessary. And let's see what we have next after utilities. Lassie Blue Eye folder. This is probably an external hard drive. It's a classic application. No. Alright. Let's give it a shot. Oh, in the meantime, I can just follow through with the rest. So, Macromedia Freehand 10. If the person is wise, the person has removed the licenses, so let's have a look on it. The license is still here. So I can create a new file and design stuff. Hooray! That's so incredible. Farben. You can change the Farben and make blue line. Alright. Extras. Bearbeiten. Whatever, my Deutsch is kaput. Quit. I think that's no save. Yeah. Back. Omni outliner. I think we've checked this one. Or no? It's like a list of things. Ah, it's a to-do kind of thing. I really like these standalone apps to do this kind of thing instead of everything in the cloud. You can still use your computer when you're not on the internet and get work done, which is fantastic. Pixel Enhance. What does it do? Caffeine software. I already like it. Basic control for images. Sharpness, noise. Probably doesn't work with raw files, but 2002, it's old. Not sure why this person needed that. Probably was a designer or photographer. Snaps Pro X. Ambrosia Software, I love their stuff. Especially the dinosaur games that you could do using 3D. The professional screen capture tool for Mac OS X. And blue eye sensors for calibration. Okay, this person was really a designer or photographer. Mac OS annoying noises. No, quit. I think my developer tools are already installed, so let's see where they are. Developer. Alright, the developer tools usually have cool demos, so let's see what we have here. The interface builder, well, before Xcode came along, the interface builder was where you would, basically, instead of having this integrated environment, you would have a tool for each purpose, and this would be where you build the interfaces. Yeah, as you can see here, does the job. Probably it could not compile Intel at this point, although the interface builder for the macOS server that still had the classic look, I think that can compile Intel before Intel Switch was, you know, a thing. Icons browser, low res icon, and you can do what? Open an application, maybe. Where's my hard drive? Doesn't matter. Package maker, OpenGL info, GeForce 4MX, profiler. Didn't show me anything of frame rate or what. I need to open an OpenGL application and then test it out. Keep it up, keep it around, because if I find one, I can profile it. Project Builder, this is where I think you wrote your code. You can choose a style for the Project Builder, create a new project, and then create a Cocoa application, my app. This is ugly. The vertical columns here, very, very ugly. Source code. Yeah. Compile, run. Put up. Properties editor, so many applications have this settings file. Like a XML kind of settings file, and probably with this you can edit these playlist files. Quartz debug was still around. No option for, how's it called? For high density screens yet. That started in Tiger, but you can flash screen updates. Wow. Okay, doesn't matter. Thread viewer. Let's analyze the threads of Finder. And I can see here how the application is performing. If you're a developer, you can debug stuff with it. Take a sample, so there is no grid trace yet. Or was it? But yeah, that should allow you to. I see again, doc. Let's see if I sample the dock. I'm probably getting the dock to do stuff now. So I can stop it now. And yeah, I can analyze the threads, see memory writes, changes. If you are a developer, you know what this is for. Anything else of interesting here? I/O Registry Explorer. The icon is awesome. It is an open Power Mac. I want to see the big icon. Window, show view options. Ah, it's a boring icon. Okay, crap. File merge. If you are... People do this in the terminal, so Apple is really give you a hand here. Extras. Sketch. Sketch allows you to sketch. It's probably you have this the source code somewhere. Bomb app. Incredible. And then it crashes. Ah, you can make application crash with this. Okay. World text. That's probably simple text with the source code available for you to look at it. Don't save. Simple text. That's probably an OS X version of the text editor of OS 9 before it was renamed, well, text edit. Bluetooth stuff, packet decoder, monitor, documentation, a bunch of PDFs for sure. Ah, not PDF, they use HTML. Now we can get all of this online anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's see, examples. Let's see the next page of a Cocoa application, OpenGL application. Cocoa GL. Can I compile this? If I could compile, I could analyze it with the OpenGL thing. Build. Run. I want to run it. Ah, build active target. Where's the CPU monitor now? It should be using all the CPU. Let's open the CPU monitor and have a look. Ah, it's done. Before I could open it. Okay, we'll do it again. Build and run. Cool. Oh wow, super OpenGL. No way. Let's look it up. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Profile. Where is my Cocoa GL thing? I know what, it doesn't matter. How can I open the root? Ah, here. Okay, developer, examples, OpenGL, Cocoa, build. Okay. Can I analyze now? Launch. Blue, green, red, green, red, blue, red, green, green, do. Well, that's beyond my scope again. I don't know what am I doing. So Let's go back to our example, see if there's anything else interesting. Printing, web service, Carbon, core audio, Hall, Daisy, Million Monkeys. Million Monkeys has a nice name. Let's open the project, compile and run, see what happens. Compiling is multi-threaded, that's good. Ah, failed. Let's try Daisy. Daisy. Can we compile and run Daisy? Well, as it compiles, we can go back and sysbeep makes it beep. So basically you can Daisy chain audio. Ah, it's a mixer. When you have many audio devices, you can probably mix them. That's what it looks like. Useless for me. Ah, that's cute. Alright. Quit. Let's see if there is any other cool example. Carbon. No. Simple text, no. Interface builder. Simple multi-window project. Build and run. What's the readme? What's it about? Right, it's building. Let's get going with this. Question. Ah, so now a multi-window application. I see. So if you're a developer, you can see the code and see how the answer moves from one to another. Yeah, kind of makes sense. All right, enough of developer tools. Okay, two things that I've really noticed now is whenever the color changes, well, the performance seems to be better, but it crashes the capture. And also, Classic seems to totally ignore the volume control. So the Classic application remains on full blast. And actually, in the macOS 9 that I have installed here, the volume control is missing. So all I can do is mute or unmute, but there's no way I can make it quieter, and it's a blast. So let's try a scenario again. Yeah, the screen already draws faster, but it's still not ideal. There is some bending. It's like a VSync is off. And yeah, running it on macOS would be much, much better. Just don't remember seeing this font problem here. If I make the window smaller, let's have a look. The desktop looks amazing, wow. Yeah, so I think the way the game manipulates the color palettes seems to be affecting everything. CPU usage is over the top. CPU usage is over the top here, and yeah, the system is not liking to run this. So I'm gonna now quit the capture again to not have it crashed and come to my conclusions. So what do I think about macOS 10.2? Even at its prime, it was not ready for production. In my opinion, the first production-ready macOS 10 release was 10.3, and if you have a machine like that nowadays, I think the only way to go is 10.4 or 10.5. 10.4 if you need classic, and 10.5 if you don't. With a lot of RAM and a fast hard drive, the system is going to fly, and there are lots of professional applications that are still viable for production work, just like I do. And yeah, you have current browsers and system tools. You can download open source packages and compile them much easier. At this point, 10.2 is not worth leaving the machine even as a curiosity. Power consumption goes over the top. The CPU doesn't clock down, doesn't go into nap. So I count always 100 watts, even sitting idle at the desktop. So it just doesn't make any sense to have this machine as a production one. But I'm gonna install Leopard later on and see how it behaves. I'm assuming power consumption will be lower and the whole experience in general much better. Thanks for watching.